How you guys all doing tonight? I'm your host, Derrick Whiteskycloud, and my show is called Between Two Worlds, and that's because I'm actually in between two worlds. I've had this name of my show for a lot of years, absolutely a lot of years. I would say since 2000, the year 2000. So, yeah, 21 years. And actually, I did a little bit of reminiscing on my radio show I used to have 2003 when I was actually at another radio station called CFON 1410. And I used to be on just an hour before the late Art Bell. And when Art Bell used to be on Coast to Coast AM. And I was on just an hour just before his show. So, it's reminiscing back. It's kind of cool. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to talk about that. Just share that story because I same kind of show, except I had a lot of people phone in the station, right? And I went through 3 producers because the building itself, I guess, anytime I start working with spirit, the building themselves start getting haunted, or actually what is haunted. And one of the hauntings in the radio station that I worked in was actually the late John Lennon. His haunting used to be in that building as well. And I'll tell you why. And this is in Vancouver, British Columbia here, folks. John Lennon, or actually the Beatles, came into town back in 1964 and performed on radio on 1410 CFON. And that's how it all began. And when they came to Canada, it was actually here in Vancouver. And I guess apparently John had a very strong affection for the station, apparently what I was told. And so they said that they would hear him sing some jingles, or you can hear the energy of John. And they said John's ghost appeared many times standing at the end of the hall at the station. And then some people thought, well, maybe somebody looks like him. No, it's actually John Lennon. So what happened was that one show on my one night, and yes, folks, I'm doing psychic readings tonight too. And on my show, I actually my producer, he's right behind the glass, right in front of me, right? So he'll say to me, line 1, 2, or 3, or 4. There's 4 lines, phone lines. And then you just press the button and answer while your monitor's right in front of you. And so I saw the vision of John Lennon his face show up on the screen. And I thought, oh, maybe it must be from, maybe TV sort of thing. No, it was real. The monitor of his face, the outline of his face, his ghostly face, actually appeared on the screen. I'm going, that's pretty cool. I was excited. Yes, he's here, So, and then this lady phoned in and calling in from Ontario. And I thought, okay, this is cool. So as she's calling me, she wanted to make contact with her mom. While she's talking to me, the monitor shifts and changes, and I call it white noise because what happens is that spirits will make their appearance in screen, on television screens. If it has that white, like a white noise or white feature on it, because years ago that's what would happen. The digital televisions we have today don't have that, because you just turn on TV, and if it doesn't come on, it doesn't come on. But on regular television sets, that's what it would do. You get that little screen going crazy, and you get an outline of someone in there, and we call it white noise because all you hear is that sound, right? Well, the woman's head her head appeared, and this was supposed to be the mother of the daughter. And the daughter asked me on the phone, she wanted to make contact with her mom, and I said, your mom is here. She goes, how do you know? I said, because I'm looking at her face on the monitor. And she goes, what? I said, I'm looking at your mother's face on the monitor right now. I said, I'll give you the details of what your mother looks like. So I gave her the detail what it might look like on the screen, on the monitor. And she was in totally shock. And we recorded that program. We had that recording of it. Because every time I do my show, it's always saved. So, yeah, it's funny how spirit has a way of coming through. And I tell people this, as often as you may think or may not think, but people in the spirit world love to appear. and they will let themselves be known. So if you see like a shadowy person from a distance, standing from a distance from you, or next to your bed, or anywhere in near, like on a TV or anything that relates to even computers, if they appear themselves to you, there's a reason why they're doing it, right? And they play with lights and fixtures and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to share that story with you because, I mean, like I said before, I was reminiscing of those years back when I had my show back then, like in 2003, on 1410 C Fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. And back then, those years, it was called Talk with Attitude. So, and even our bell would say that, Talk with Attitude. So, yeah, we had an attitude, didn't we? No. Oh, well. So, before we go any further, I got a few things to share with you guys regarding what's going on across the world a little bit. I want to say a few things, and that is, number one, I feel really bad for so many people in different parts of the countries because they are in major battles. I mean, literally, I'm actually watching the police abuse their force on the public in, say, France or in Poland. In some areas, it's absolutely violent. They're beating the crap out of people terribly because they're using the COVID as a, pretty well a beginning of a war. Like the police are creating a war with their own citizens, and they're acting more like they're military, and they're not military. They're just police officers. But when you start watching all these officers showing up wearing battle shields and billy clubs, I mean, these clubs are long, and they're striking away at the public, and the public aren't doing nothing. They're having a peaceful protest, and they come running up to them and lashing at them and start beating on them, telling them to go home. And it gets to be disappointing in them, folks. I mean, I like to see people get hurt, but everyone has to understand one thing. This COVID actually that's going on, folks, is getting to be monotonous because now what they're trying to do is treat us like as if we were cattle, and where they want us to treat us like children, because basically that's exactly what's happening. Our government's taking over our countries, or governments trying to take over all of our countries so that they can actually tell us what to do. And try to control us and psychologically control us as well by using the MSM, right, and the media to make us believe that that is mandatory that we get a vaccine. Well, number one, and I will tell you folks exactly, right. I already know already. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of people and some really good people out there, and I've asked them. I said, "You guys got the vax?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Why?" "Well, I had to." "Well, who told you to?" "Well, they said so, because it's a law." I said, "No, it's not the law." Here's the problem, folks. Your media, your MSMs, okay, what they're doing is they're trying to convince the public that it's against the law for not having a vax. Or it's a law that you have to have the vax. There is no law. Never has been anywhere across the world. Except one country now that has just announced that they supposedly passed a bill to make it mandatory to get a vaccine. Why? Because this particular person representing the health industry is working for Deep State. So she knows herself, and I will mention her name. It actually is in New Zealand. Jacinda Ardern, and I'm sure some of you may not know her or do know her. She represents New Zealand. She's finally decided to destroy her own citizens by forcing vaccines on all frontline staff with a $4,000 fine and including prison. She wants to put them in prison for 3 years if they fail to comply. Okay? So any online worker, anybody who's actually working in any industry or business, they're actually wanting you to have the vaccine. That means if you don't take the vaccine in your arm, and they're going to actually try and get you to comply by having the use of the power of the police. They have brought the military in because the military won't get involved. But any corrupt police officer that will help the government to force you to basically literally hold you down and shove a needle in your arm, and basically what she had said, she says, "I worked with Bill Gates for such a long time. We've had many meetings together," and she said, "It's time to start the New World Order." It's beginning the New World War. Basically, she's part of it. So she knows full well that she's going to be taken away. So her goal is to try, and she will be charged for crimes against humanity, but she wants to take out as many people as she can before she gets taken to prison. And when I saw this, I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? And then this is basically what's happening here. In our country, in Canada, just Mr. JT, our Prime Minister actually wants to pass a law that it's illegal for us to even talk about him or anything that I'm doing. Okay, if they hear or see anything that I'm doing on any social network or anything, really, even if it's in emails, okay, they want the right to check you out, everything and anything you talk about, whether it's email, texting, or social network. He wants you to have you arrested behind bars. Why? Because he too knows he's going to go to prison. He wants to take out people, see how many people can get to go to jail. Those, all these people that are corrupt, all they want to do is try to scare the living hell out of you because they're at their very wit's end, and they're also, their life is at this much end, what's left of it. Okay? Between now and August, they're all gone. Most of them are already behind bars in prison. Some of them are leftovers. Okay? Some are leftovers. And they hang here for a reason, and they're placed there for a reason, and the deep state still wants them to tell you what they want you to do, and they want you still scared. Because the words are, the fear words are, or fear-mongering words are, fine, money, and prison. Let me tell you something. I went to prison. I know what it's like to be behind bars. I served I didn't serve a long for a time, but I was served very unconventional time because actually I had some police officers are corrupt and put me behind bars, and then they got caught later, but I was set free after because they know they screwed up. Right? So the thing is that those police officers are gone, and I know it's like to be behind bars, and I did serve time. Very short, brief time, but I served it. But what I learned about it was most of these guys that were in prison didn't do anything wrong. And they actually swear to God, even after they were sentenced, they're going like, I still didn't do it. Why? Because we have corrupt governments. They put people behind bars because they want to get you out of the way. You're in the way. Right? When a person speaks up for themselves, you're in the way. Or he's speaking up for the public, you're in the way. So they're going to try and find anything they can to put you behind bars to get you scared. No one will ever harm you if you're there overnight. They can't hold you any longer than 72 hours. And there never is a charge. They can only withhold you for 24 hours, but they have to have a charge. If there is no charge, then you can actually go after them. And you can charge the officers that actually had you arrested. Do you know that? Every country has that. You can actually charge those officers that actually have put you behind bars. If you know very well that you're innocent, you know it. Right? That's what this whole thing is about. Again, the fear-mongering is they want to find people in the thousands. Well, I think the most expensive prime minister or leader in any country in the world actually is JT here in Canada. He wants to charge people a $1 million fine and 3 years in prison if you don't comply to go to their so-called quarantine hotel, not for 2 weeks now, for 1 month. And he also wants you to pay for it. There is no law. That's just plain fear-mongering. You are under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Nuremberg Law, Nuremberg Code. That protects you. But if any officer says, well, that's your thinking, then produce it. Produce the copies of your Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Show a copy. Here, officer, read this. If you don't know your charter, you should know because you're an officer. Every officer has to learn their charter. Okay? They already know their charter because there's no way to become an officer. They have to know the charter. I know because I spoke to many officers about it. I said, you guys know your charter? Yeah, we had to study it. Really? Well, guess what? Show it. Produce it. Make sure you have plenty of charters, copies in your glove compartment if you're driving anywhere, if they pull you over, and or in your wallet or purse, whatever have you. But make sure there's always some by your doorway. If they come to your door, show them the charter. They'll leave you alone. You don't have to you don't have to allow them to come in your home and ask you what's going on or who's inside. It's none of their damn business. That's under a Privacy Act. Yes, folks, you have a Privacy Act. Every country has. Okay? Unless you're legislated under a communist country, different story. But if you're under a crown or any which means how you know. I got both copies. I have copies. I produce it all the time. Anytime I go to a store, I'll have copies. And I'll say, charter, here. You got no say. I have the rights. I've never worn masks walking in any store. I walk in. I'll tap on this and say, no. You want to see the charter? They get mad. They actually have a hell of a time with me. Yell and scream. Even the manager, these are managers, supervisor of the store, they yell like, what are you? Just giving me hell, like, just giving me, I'm calling the cops. Go ahead. When the cops show up, they know the charter. I'll hand it to them, and they'll just pass it back to you, and guess what? The cops are going to say, we can't touch him. We can't even find him. They can't kick me out because you open your doors to the citizens. Because everybody's worrying about this mask issue, right? Now they're not too worried about masks anymore. Now they want everybody to get the vax before they enter the businesses. This is all planned, folks. This has been planned for a long time by the deep state. They have stages and plans to make sure that they can make sure they get you to the point where you can't do nothing or you think you can't do anything. Okay? That's what they're doing. I've been around this for such a long time. I've been around this since 2003. I was notified I'll give you guys a bit of a story. When I had my special ride on a UFO by three people that took me with them on UFO, they showed me on the ship, that was a ship, I think. They showed me stuff that I had to see on the way up to the planet because they were going to show me their planet because I asked, right? So I went there, pardon me, and at the same time, they said, Derrick, come with us, we're going to show you something. So they showed me the future. They showed me things that was going to happen, that could happen, if we don't listen, right? Here's Bonnie Vent. Yeah, did not realize if you are damaged, your medical insurance will not cover it. It's true. No matter what country, folks, right? No matter what country, your insurance, if you got insurance, your health insurance does not cover if you get damaged. I've never seen so many people. I had 3 clients come and see me, and they got so much pain down their same arm since the vax. Not little pinch. I'm talking about major pain. One lady could not even close her hand anymore. There are side effects to this vaccine. Okay, number 1, I'm going to tell you that it's absolutely true. Fauci and Bill Gates made sure that this vaccine was never to recover from because this vaccine was made specifically to depopulate you, okay, and also has major side effects, okay, because this, folks, you are all in the middle of Terry's here, absolutely right. We're all in right now in a how do you say it? We're in the middle of World War III, but we're in a bioweapon war right now. Because it's actually the deep state, all these bad, evil guys. I mean, they're all bad people out there. They're the ones that are trying to control us. They're called a corporation. That's what it really is. They're a corporation, and what's going to happen? We're going to destroy their corporation, and they are beginning to see it, and they know it. The only people they can try to pay off still is the MSMs, right? The media, and whatever's left to hang on to. So right now, what they're doing right now, and Terry's saying here, today they announced 12 kids 12 years old to get vaxxed. They're announcing it, and they want to enforce it. They want these kids to get vaxxed before they go back to school or go to school, I already had a teacher come and see me a few days ago. She came for a reading. I said, "Did you get vaxxed?" And she goes, "Yeah, I did." I said, "You know what? Guess what? Now that you got vaxxed, I can't even come near. I can't even hold your hand. I can't even shake your hand. I come close to you because now you are the carrier. You have you have the COVID in you now. They placed it in you. That's what the vax is, folks. It's not a cure. It never was a cure. It's called an experimental drug. They're mandatorily wanting you to get vaxxed so that you can carry the COVID. You are the bioweapon. Carrying it in your body. You are the bioweapon. Every one of you. Any young children that ever had it now or ever did get the vax, they'll never have kids. Because Gates already said, he said in the videos time and time again, his work is on, and he said, third wave. Here's third wave now. And he said this even months ago. When the third wave comes in, I'm coming for the children, he said. And they'll be depopulated, as in no more kids born. He's sterilizing the countries. Why? Because it's satanic. The satanic groups, that's who they are. They want to depopulate the world. They want to take all the... Why do you think our governments want to put the churches out of the way? Not the Muslims, not the Sikhs, Christianity. Why do you think they want to shut down Christianity down? Because we pray to God, right? They want the churches done, out of the way. So they're trying to pass a law. All of your prime ministers, all of your premiers, all of your whoever they are, leaders, are wanting to get a law passed where it's illegal to go to church, illegal to withhold any kind of church, illegal to even pray to Jesus, even mentioning his name. It would be illegal. Okay? I'm telling you guys straight up. This is what this whole thing's about. This is all a biblical war. This is Satan against God. We represent God. We are there to help God. We are in the middle of a Bible right now. A brand new Bible. And we're here to do the job. Every one of you actually watching this, listening to this, those of you who decide to walk away, fine. I cannot help you with that. But if you want to learn what I know that is factual truth, and I'm serious, if you want to know what's going on, I'll tell you exactly what's going on because I get my stuff from very important people. They pass it down to me and they'll say, here, Derrick, share this. They already know. For all the months and months and months I've been sharing all this with you folks, have I ever steered you wrong? No. None. No one has any right to put a needle in your arm. None whatsoever. That's under your charter. You know that. I shared that with you last week. Your charter protects you. No government has any right to grab you, hold you, and sterilize you. It happened to the First Nations people years and years ago, back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. They were sterilizing the women. They sterilized over 100,000 women because they didn't want any more Native American children being born. Why? Because they were satanic at the time. They were experimenting, and that's exactly what they did. They started even including residential schools and other whatever programs are available. We were the experiments. These children, First Nations children, were the experiments at the first. If that child fought against not having that needle, not wanting to be experimented on, they would take another needle, put the needle in that child's arm, that child's dead, gone. They would cremate the child, throw the child in a furnace. I've heard these stories constantly from other people that are elders now that were in the residential schools, and they say they saw the child scream and yell, the needle put in the arm, the child died, stops the heart, they haul the child downstairs, they followed them, and they saw the child being thrown into the furnace, burned alive, and then they go back and tell the parents, oh, the child ran away. This was ongoing for a long time. And then they hid the story. Oh, no, you don't, you're crazy. No one would believe an Indian. You're all liars. You're all drinkers. You're all drug users. Really? We're the most intelligent, smartest people in the world because we were balanced, we were level, we understood what culture was like. And the Jesuits were afraid of us. They're afraid of us because we were grounded people when they came in on this country or any other country. That's all their job was to do, was to destroy us. The black robes. Why do you think the black robes would take these whips and beat the crap out of their backs and say, oh, ma, 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 ma. And they're destroying themselves. Who taught them that? That was satanic. They're torturing themselves. That's satanic. No human being would ever try to torture themselves physically. Come on, give me a break, guys. You think about it. Those priests were horrible. But I'll be honest with you right now. I'm not telling you guys straight up. The Pope is gone. All the cardinals are gone. Most of the priests that actually had committed crimes against humanity and pedophilia, they're gone. They're already been executed. They're done. They're history. Right? The Pope's done. He's gone. In fact, they're going to take down the temple, but they're not going to do it until they remove all the records first. Yeah. Jeanette says, Port Alberni had the worst residential school in my hometown. So much healing happening here. Yeah. I'm telling you guys. I did short time in residential school when I was taken there. But I mean, really short time because when I told my dad what was going on, he took me out real quick and moved me from Manitoba right to Alberta. Like, we're out of here. So, I mean, these things did exist. When they found out I had indigenous blood, I was done. They took me out of the regular school, put me in residential school. I was only for not even 6 months. But my dad thought it was good for me because it was priests. Well, they found out later these priests were evil. They locked me up in the room all the time. And I'm freaking telling you the truth. They would lock me up because I didn't believe in what they were teaching me regarding their version of the Bible. I didn't agree with it, so they locked me up in a room. Little cubbyhole room with a tiny window about this big, and all I could see out the back of the window, I had to sit in a wooden chair and not move. They'd lock me in the room, and if I wanted to look out the window, all I'd see is a little tiny window out of this room, and all you see is the wheat fields. Okay? I know. Been there, done that. And yet you can find some people out there going to try to tell others, and oh no, you know what you're talking about, you're crazy, no, you're just making this up. Live my freaking life. Everyone has a life that they've experienced. Everyone has hardship of sorts. I know my life. Part of my life was rough, not at home. My life was rough at school. My life was rough away from home. It's who I communicated with, people who I met after. When my father found out that I was in confinement in a room, locked up, because they told me if I told my parents that I'd go to hell. They had been trying to make me believe that I would go to hell. I'd burn in hell if I actually told my mom and dad. And I kept it quiet for a few weeks, and I thought to myself, no. You know, I got this inspired from light from God telling me, don't quiet your mind. Don't stop. Say, yell out, tell your father. And I did. Oh man, when I told my dad, guess what happened? He grabbed me, took me with him, and I thought, oh, am I going to be stuck there or not? My father walks in and he says, he told the priest, he says, take off your white collar, take off your collar, he says. My dad, and the guy says, why? Take off your collar. The guy popped off his collar, and my dad says, now you're a man. My father grabbed him and knocked him out cold. He says, you touch my son again, if I see you on the street again, I will kill you. And my dad was serious, and he was a lumberjack then. Our parents do protect us. Right? Our parents do have great hearts, and they love us a great deal. They want us to carry on our lives and live like human beings. And yet we've got people out there right now that don't want us around. They want to depopulate the world. This is the only time that the devil, Satan himself, is going to try to stop this world from surviving. And that was the year of 2020 and 2021. This was the major time that he was going to make his attack. But he also has his minions that does it for him. And all those minions are the politicians. Most of them are corrupt. But if you see a politician that praises God highly and praise Jesus, then that's the one I would trust. But if you actually see one always, and I always hear those guys going, well, Satan be with me, or praise Satan, like, really? Why? Oh, I decided to get into try satanic worshiping, just to see what it's like. Or I became a Freemason, want to see what it's all about. I want to become a 33rd. I gotta tell people, getting into Freemasonry today is not like the way it was at the very, very beginning when it started. The very beginning when it started, it was all to do with Christianity. But again, the deep state got involved. The Satanics decided to adopt the Freemasonry and their teachings together to make it where if you even share your wisdom as a Freemason, that they would have the right to cut you up in pieces and burn your body, and you'll never be heard from again. Well, that's not true God-like teachings. That has nothing to do with God. That's all to do with the devil, because the devil always talked about cutting things up and discarding them and removing them and burning. So think about it, folks, right? It's common sense, absolute common sense. Like I've been in this work as a healer in the field, working as a reader in the field. I never asked for this work at the beginning. I never did. I had no idea that I was going to be doing this. But I had a lot of messages sent to me as a kid growing up. I talked to God many times. I even see, like I said before, every time I do this, I told you I've seen Jesus twice. Literally, seriously, physically, seen him in life. Stand before me. Okay? I didn't ask to talk to him. He wanted to see me. And not many people, I guess, would say, have an opportunity to speak to Jesus in person. 911. You know what I mean? But I know in my heart that he exists. And everyone gives him a title. Creator, Great Spirit. Right? In indigenous language. But Jesus is Jesus. Right? Yahshua, how you want to name him, he's still the same. There's Jesus and there's God. There's God and the Son of God. Because you got two messengers. You got two people trying to help us. Not just God himself. There's also Jesus. Jesus was the Son of God. He became the Christ after he learned from the Essenes. He became the Christ because he started learning what the Essenes were teaching him of the higher source, the higher connection to the spirit world, the higher connection to God. And before, he was just a boy growing up, learning to become a carpenter. Any kind of occupation he wanted to learn was like to be in that world. But then he became blessed and became the messenger for God because God asked him. Okay, I'm not preaching, I'm just sharing you exactly because I am told under Corinthians 11 through 20, and Jesus said, with these gifts you shall do greater. And that's exactly what he did for me. He basically showed me that I'm going to be doing the same kind of work as him, or I can do the same kind of work as him. But I'm telling the message. I'm sharing the message for to let you all know that you are well taken care of and you're all well watched, but you need to ask for that help. Just don't sit back and not do anything about it. Well, I'll let them take care of it. We all have to stand up and fight back. And Jesus was never passive. He did fight. I mean, literally, he was a physical fighter. And most people say, oh, no, he didn't. He was just walking around just praying, you know, praising people, blessing people. No. There's more things that I learned from him that he basically, one time he had a few of his own fits. And he didn't like certain things that were trying to control the people, so he stood up against them. He got up against the soldiers. He went up against people. But he stood his ground because he had faith. Right now, we are in the middle of a third world war. We are in the middle of a biblical war. We are in the middle of a movie. We're in a movie. That's what this is. It's like a movie, folks. Grab your popcorn and enjoy it because this is basically what this is all about. Put some salt on it. A little bit of lemon, whatever you want to do, right? But your popcorn is going to be interesting because as you start chomping on your popcorn, start watching more things happen. And this is exactly what's happening here right now. I've told everybody, everywhere across the land, across the world, no matter who you are, where you're living at, I tell you all the time. Right? Every being that is evil is going to be going to Guantanamo Bay, spend time in prison. They will be charged under military law. Okay? Military. Because right now, in the United States, you guys are under military law, not presidential law. You're not under federal law. You're not under provincial law. You're under military law. Our country, every country is under military law. Right now, as we speak, we're all under military law. Even the police have no say over military law. We're being watched over right now, and they're wanting us to learn lessons. They want us to stand up for each other. Stand up for each other, not against each other. That's what Satan wants you to do, is fight against each other. And this is just like typical government. Do the same thing. The government will start something up, then they'll make up a story about one group of people over here, another group of people over here, over race, maybe religion. Next thing they want the Christians to hate the Muslims. Oh, they left the Muslims alone. The police don't go after the Muslims in their temple. But how come they're going after Christians? Well, because the Muslims are favorites. Next thing you know, now the Christians hate the Muslims. Who started the fight? Okay, the government. They know how to get to you. Yeah, China does want to rule us. You're right, Terry. China wants to rule us, but guess what? China ain't going to rule us at all, because that ain't going to happen. There's one man right now who's actually has stood up against them, and he put them in their place. Okay, Mr. T. He's put them in their place, and right now they have nothing to stand on. In fact, a lot of the CCP actually has been dismantled. Most of it has been gone. There's a few of them still trying to fight or disappear, and are trying to create more havoc. But CCP is almost dispersing. There's not going to be nothing left of that country. Even the Chinese citizens don't like the CCP. They don't. They've been fighting back for their freedom as well for a lot of years. More years than our countries. All they want is their freedom, just like everybody else. But they don't get that because they let those guys take over them. China is the first. China is the first example. Why do you think Justin Trudeau said, oh, he really loves the idea how China controls their citizens, but through dictatorship? And he admires them for that. So he says he wants to do the same thing in our country, in Canada. He wants to be the very first dictator of Canada. Guess what? He ain't going to be a dictator of Canada. Because his birth father, Fidel Castro, was taken out already. He's gone. Right? He didn't die of cancer. He was actually executed for crimes against humanity. And Justin, the real Justin Trudeau, is actually in prison right now in Gitmo. This is actually an actor that carries a mask. So, and then we have another one who's with him, Krista Freeland. She's done. Right? She's going to be taken away. Justin Trudeau's wife is gone. She's been taken away because she's actually the granddaughter of Hitler. Seriously, she is. She's related to him. She's the granddaughter of Hitler. Her job was to do the same thing. Right? We got some of your premiers we got Premier in Alberta. Jason Kenney, he's done. He'll be taken away. We got Ford in Ontario, he's done. Your premier in Manitoba, he's history. He's out. A lot of your premiers across Canada are history. They're done. They're taken out. Funny thing I've noticed that in BC, our premier in BC, he's sitting on the edge, but he's not doing too much. Right? He hasn't done... Horgan actually is doing horrible stuff, but Bonnie Henry is the worst. And I tell everybody, you guys may not to know this, need to know this, but every health authority, they follow a script. Okay? A script. They're told what to say. Every health authority in every province is told what to say. That means who's telling them what to say? Who? Who's telling them what to say? deep state, the Rothschilds, or anyone else that was above it who's actually in that program, the ones that are following, doing the satanic work. They're the ones that tell these health authorities what to do. They're going every level, much as they can, to get you guys all scared and all frightened and fearful that you're all going to go to jail and get fined money. People tend to forget that we elected these officials. That means we are the leaders. They represent us to help give us, or help to create these guidances together. So basically, the cabal, yes, they're the ones that are leading, that are the ones that are telling every health authority what to do. So you guys, folks, need to do is stand up for yourselves more. And be straightforward about it. I mean, don't yell and scream at people, but be civil. But if by some chance, like I said before, if anybody gets in your face, tell them to their face, tell them what to do. Now, I got some messages here as of today is May the 6th. Okay. Let's see here. I'll read something from Terry here too. Obama sent skids of U.S. money, $1 billion to Dubai, and and I forget the other place, to fund the corrupt election that happened in Italy, China, etc., all involved with getting Trump out. The deep so big. Oh, it's bigger than you think, folks. They collected originally at the, for example, the Pope, and in their big, huge cathedral type of whatever thing, building. I just call it a prison, or a satanic building. Underground was about 165 miles of gold. And that gold, actually, it's an underground road that goes to Israel. And they've been collecting it for years and years and years and years. This is gold bars, gold, everything, you name it, everything's gold. Anyways, they collected approximately 35.4 quadrillion dollars of gold, and that will be distributed out all across the world amongst every citizen after this whole thing starts to come to a calm. Okay, and right now we're in the middle of Jisara Nasara right now. So here I want to share with you folks, as of today is the global currency reset. Okay, May the 6th, 2021 is the global currency reset. Some of you may not know what that means, but it's happening. Okay. John Kennedy Jr., he'll be, as of tomorrow, well, actually it was today, will be announcing his vice presidency with Donald J. Trump. Now, there has been a video going around that a flag was raised, a very giant flag was raised, a giant flag was raised. I got the video of it, where it was raised high in the air, and it said 2021 Trump, John F. Kennedy Jr., Vice President. Okay. So, May the 20th is the end of Donald Trump's, or President Trump's, executive order. That means executive order as of the President of the United States of America, under the corporate America. Okay. August the 1st, take it back. August the 8th will be the Jisara blockchain election. August the 8th is the Jisara blockchain election. August the 1st is the declass. If you guys mean declassification. August the 1st is declass everything. They're declassing everything. Okay. Some of you may not know what it means. If others do know, please share it with others in the chat room or anybody else. Declassing, and NBC's declassing everything. As in exposure. All the things that are going on. There'll be mass arrests, deep state globalists, and Biden is history. Okay? Trump and Nasara is activated. So everything to do with August, everything between now, May to August, Trump and Nasara will be activated. Military intelligence only. Uncensored news, military tribunals, and there'll be 3 8-hour broadcasts. They'll be playing 24/7. 3 8-hour broadcasts 24/7. 10 days of darkness. They're saying don't panic. 10 days of darkness means that is this is long before all this happens, that everything's going to transition over to a better, and that includes that we may not have power, but we won't have internet, we won't have telephone, we won't have cable for about 10 days. So still, it is coming. But again, I can't predict when. I can't tell you exactly when, but just be prepared for it. So I always tell people, make sure that if you ever have to travel anywhere, make sure you have enough cash in your pocket, enough food in your house for those 10 days. Okay? Plenty of water, healthy water. Yeah, so I wanted to share that with you guys. So this is what I got from my sources. So, now, let's see here. Debbie is talking about trafficking. Oh, children. We'll say trafficking. The kids. Most of the kids have been rescued. There's a few more they're still digging up, so to speak, underground. I tell people is anytime you ever hear the word lockdown, that means, or if they say, not so much the word lockdown, but you hear the word lockdown, and if they say curfew, that means that Trump's group, their special forces, are underground of the place that whoever you're at, a location, they're underground rescuing the kids. And there's not just children, but there's women, there's all kinds of people. Whoever they've kidnapped and taken underground for trafficking, that's exactly what's done there. Most of the time, they're just children. But again, this is all controlled by a satanic group. They're the ones that are running all this. We call them the deep state or cabal. They're the most evilest in the world. And so, guys, we're all in the middle of this. And I try to be like my wife doesn't want to even me talk about this to her because it disturbs her. So I try not to mention too much to everybody or to her about it. I just sit back and let her do her thing and enjoy herself because she has recovered from her illness. At the same time, but I also would like to give people hope, and I give people a heads up what's going to happen. What's the truth about what's happening in India? Number one, India actually is there's no hospitals full in India, none. I have a video here that was sent to me that the hospitals are empty and there's nobody sick. The odd patient, but it was over something else, never COVID, so to speak. But they're trying to make you think or believe that we all have to line up and they have special groups of people that try to intimidate you, and they start to hit you with sticks in the street, telling you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, and they chase you around. If you don't want to wear a mask, there are these guys carrying masks and they're beating you with sticks. They're not even the police officers. They're just people. They're hired thugs to work for the police to hit you, which I think is wrong. I call that assault. And these aren't even sticks. They look like willow sticks. They're long. They're like 3-4 feet long, and they're just beating the crap out of you if you don't put your mask on. It's really ridiculous. So again, in India, no, their hospitals are not even full. Same thing here in Canada. There's no full hospitals. If there are a lot of people, actually, I do know a lot of nurses that are actually in the hospitals working. But anytime, I have we'll take this back once. I do have a friend of mine that actually did spend time in the hospital. Supposedly she had the COVID. They said she had the COVID. I don't believe it. I think she had a flu virus or a flu symptom, which basically could have been the symptom of like mine, what I had before anyone else had. And she probably had the same pain in the chest, so to speak. And like I said, I'll tell people, it's called bacterium. It's actually bacterium. That's what the COVID is. It's bacterium. It's SARS-2, flu. Nothing more. It's a flu. So this whole C-19 thing is a distraction because this is all to do with controlling the creation of the beginning of a third world war. That's all they want. I have watched so many programs, new movies that have been released, and they're trying to hint out to all you folks that relates to this They're all doing the same thing. They're repeating, they're replicating the same similar stories, saying, here's what can happen. They're making movies out of these, and you guys, folks, you got to keep an eye on it. You'll never see Hollywood anymore. There is no Hollywood. All your actors have been executed. When you guys had the Academy Awards, there was nobody there. There were just the people that were in the audience. They were all workers that worked in the hospitals. They were the ones that represented or replaced all the actors. And maybe the odd one or two or three actors there, but well-known actors, I didn't recognize anybody. So why? And their excuse was, oh, well, they all decided to stay at home. That's a malarkey story. That's horse crap. They would have attempted everything they could to come out there if they wanted to. But because they were warned by Ricky Gervais, this is the last of the Academy Awards that you'll ever come back to. After I'm gone, you'll never see me again. And he was right. Ricky Gervais did the last emceeing of the Academy Awards where all those famous actors were there. And they did not come back, did they? No. Those actors are gone. They're taken out because they all committed crimes against humanity. They were all child pedophile, satanic cannibals. Okay? You'll find out. It's really bad. But again, that'll be shared with you in the near future between now and August. You'll see the truth. Okay? Janet says, watch the final season of X-Files. It has a storyline about vaccines. Yeah. Like I said, almost every show or movie is trying to hint to you, all of you folks, about vaccines or about a virus. And they're saying how dangerous it is. Okay? And there, if you look on my page, on the True North Strong and Free, you'll see more than you think. Area code 306.
Good. How's it going?
Good, my friend. How's it going with you?
I got a question. Two questions.
Yes.
Okay, the woman that raised me, was she my mother?
Yes.
Okay. There's a little bit of confusion there when I was growing up with my sister.
Okay. No, your sister's not your sister's not your mother.
Yeah, well, okay, good. Because she kept saying, "Oh, you're adopted. Oh, you're adopted."
No, you're not adopted. Your mom was real. I'm very strong. Your mom has got her hands on the hips like, really? Am I that stupid?
No. I was born in a house, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess that's about all I got to ask. And I guess my son's going to do okay, so I'm not going to worry about him right now.
No, I wouldn't worry too much right now. I think you're doing good. It'll all get better in itself. You just have to be patient.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I bought a crystal.
Oh, you bought a crystal? Good.
All it does is go in circles.
Oh, one of these.
Every time I ask a question, it goes in circles.
Yeah, that tells you yes.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you again.
Okay, you take care, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye. Terry's asking, are they going to extend this lockdown going forward in Ontario? Well, number one, if you folks actually see the true setup near Parliament or near the hospital, you'll see the military there. Now, why is the military there? And they're saying, oh, well, we're just helping because of the vaccines. No. The Canadian Armed Forces are there for one reason, okay? And that is they're scooping up the kids. And they only do it at nighttime. They don't do it during the daytime. And they only do it when everybody's out of the way. So if they're putting curfews out, that means that they're scooping up kids from underground. And I do believe it because if Ontario is next to Quebec, and I'm sure there must be a tunnel going from Quebec to Ontario, and where the deep state still works out of as well. So again, this will be, that's the only reason why they're doing this. It's the only reason why they're cleaning it up. That's all I can say on that part. So, yeah. Vivian said, I never watched Hollywood Awards. Well, yeah. I mean, for years and years and years as a kid growing up, I used to watch and see who would win, that sort of thing. But it's lost its yeah. Oh, yeah. There will be an antidote for the vaccine. Like, basically, people said that actually side effects of the vaccine. Some people have died. Some people actually have survived. My mom had died from the vaccine. Okay, within the hour. Many side effects of it. Okay, Diane's asking, my moldavite crystal was lost. Do you think I should get another? Yes. Get another one. Yeah, go for it. Danny, you should know better than that. You're trained by me. Right? Yeah, get another one. And put it inside your headband on your third eye when you're doing some meditations. Where if you put folks, I tell you, if you put a moldavite, a tektite inside your third eye, where your third eye is, and sit back and relax and do your meditation, you'll get visions, major visions. Are selenite ones good for anxiety? Yes, as well as amethyst. Amethysts are really, really good for healing. A selenite, they're more for clearing. And I mean, they're good for anxiety, but they're also good for clearing, right? Clearing negative energies in a room, so you can wave it in the area. You can do a 360 wave around the room. Take your time doing it. Don't just like, you're not a magic wand. But you can actually go around the room and you're clearing all the negative energy. Basically, I tell people what's left, a residual that's actually what you don't think that belongs there, you can clear it. And selenite's been used even in fish tanks. People will put selenites in fish tanks. Okay, so it's good to have that. Because I use crystals all the time. This is one of the healing tools that I made, over a year ago. This is actually a raw amethyst, and then this is deer horn. And I make these. Okay, so you can either use it like this, or I can make them smaller where you can wear around your neck as a piece of jewelry, so you can use that as often as you want, right? So, so Bonnie says, I got a necklace that produces negative ions. Yeah, why not? It works. So yeah, this is really good for as a stress reliever. Like and also I tell people too, copper is very important, and you can use that because copper is a conduit. So the more the energy that's actually releasing from this, your copper gives it intensifying more positive energy. So it's really good to have. And I'm making different sizes from this size to whatever size you want, whatever's attracted to you most. Some people actually, I've also made walking staffs with the amethyst point, and depending how to design it, and make them into walking staffs. And it's good to have those when you're walking in the bush or wherever you're going, and it favors you. Like basically, it's great for guidance. And sometimes you feel led you got to go here. Sometimes you feel led you got to go there. Because that's what these amethysts, these stones will do. Crystals will always give you guidance. They'll never mislead you. I've been using crystals for years. One crystal that I do highly recommend, if anybody who actually wants to ever learn to protect themselves more, this one here is called a fire agate. And the fire agate, what's used for, folks, is for removing keeping negative energy or even bad energy to harm you. So it's always good either you can wear around your neck, or you can actually put in your pocket, and so you feel far more protected. That's one of the most major pieces I do carry with me, especially if I go on ghost hunting. If I'm actually in a paranormal group, I take that with me and put it in my pocket, because I know very well I feel far more protected. Plus, a physical touch from a spirit or a ghost, and I'm not saying spirit, but a physical touch from a ghost that actually is unsettled can't harm you or push you, because that particular piece is it keeps you more protected, because it bounces off of you, hits them back again, right? Yes, the fire agates are the best to use to protect you from really bad energy. And again, that's what they look like. And the reason how they look, because they look like they're partially red and white, but you can see, and this is a tumbled one, but this is basically what they look like, right? And that's what your fire agates look like. I got another fire agate right here. I like come up with all kinds of them. So I have two fire agates. So I like that sort of thing. They're really good to have, right? There's also let's see here. clarity to remove, say you are, anybody who's actually in the healing field, this is called Kyanite. This particular stone is good for cutting out, sometimes we have blockages in our voice box, and we feel like we can't really speak forward. So you can also lay it near your voice box or your energy, and it'll start to draw out things, and sometimes it'll feel like as if there's a knot coming forward. That means that means you're dealing with issues that you're having a hard time to deal with. You're trying to get to leave. And a lot of times these kyanites are really good to have, especially, and they're very delicate, by the way. They do fall apart easily. You can see the slices in them. They look really cool. They're like little layers of glass. But this is a blue kyanite. There's actually about 3 kinds of kyanites. There's actually a red kyanite, green kyanite, and blue kyanite. So spelled with a K, kyanite. Okay. Then we have, let's see here. This is a tourmaline. This one here. Beautiful tourmaline. Okay. And what I love about this tourmaline, because basically especially when the light is on it, it shows a bit of a hue of purple in it. It's really, really nice. And they're really good to have. Tourmalines are good for focusing on meditation and reflection. That's all to do with your healing, right? Personal healing. And also, let's see here. What do I have here in my... Okay. This one here, this is called red coral. And mind you, red coral, that's real coral, right? Which basically, when it's alive, it moves like this, right? In the water. But red coral actually is really good for, as a protection as well. And especially if you're near the water, because coral relates to water itself. So you can make it into a piece of jewelry and wear that. Kind of cool for a small little piece of jewelry, but it actually has everything that you see in your path. For example, depends on the situation you're dealing with. And every crystal, for example, like the one I'm using here, I'll give you an example here. This is my, okay, you can see this one here. Now, so this is a Smoky Quartz. You can see the smoke look in it. This is my pendulum. That's what I use all the time. Right? And let's see it right there. You can see the smoky look in it. I'm trying to see if we can get close enough to see, for you to see. Yeah. But again, it has that smoky feature. And it looks like a little bit of tiny little smoky striations inside the crystal. Now, there is 2 kinds of crystals that are very similar to this. But there's also one that looks similar to a Smoky Quartz. It's called a styrated, which basically has straight lines, black lines in it. That's a styrated quartz. And they all have different purposes. But now, what the Smoky Quartz is used for me, and for anyone really, is to remove negative energies. Okay? It basically keeps the negative energy away from you. But also, what I use this for is to find bodies, people that are missing. It's the tool I use because it guides me as a pendulum. So I get guided by the crystal. Anything comes from the earth, because when a person is under the earth or on the earth, the crystals are calling out for the connection to that person's body that's gone missing. Or anything. I can also find water. I can also find oil. I can find whatever I need to find that's important. I just focus the energy or the thought to the crystal to say, okay, I'm looking for this. Okay? And so this is what will help a whole lot. Okay? So, yeah, Smoky Quartz removes negative energy and finds objects or persona. Exactly. That's basically what this is good for. But you use it as a pendulum, right, to find. So it works a little bit different. I'll give you an idea what this does. Now, I'm not moving this at all. Okay, I'm trying to keep it focused. It'll do its own movement. Okay, I try not to shake it. But if I ask a question, it'll make its own movement. It'll do its own thing. And it'll either say no, yes, or depending on the situation of the story, right? So if I'm focusing on something, if I'll say, okay, are there more children that Donald Trump has to find? And you see how this is moving? So it's almost, it shows me here there's just a little bit more he's got to do. Because they're saying yeses and nos. That means that whatever's left, he's almost pretty well done. Most of the kids have been rescued, but there's just a few more he's got to pick it up. And the more I'm saying this, now the crystal's agreeing. You see how it's doing? It's doing all its own swing. It's going into a circle. And the more I talk about it, the larger the circle it becomes. I've seen it go so large. I'll give you an example. It'll go like this, like crazy. I'm minding it purposely, but it'll do this. And then sometimes if I'm asking a lot of questions at the same time, what it will do is that it'll start hitting my hand. It'll start going back on me and hit my hand and kept saying, like, pay attention, I'm talking to you. So even it's trying to tell me what to think. So it's really good, right? Now, to find any of these kind of pendulum, now you want to find it where it has a style of its own. This is a shape of a person. That's why I got this one here. So that's why I got it this way. So you'll find the shape. So it looks like a human form. Some people say they look like a goddess in one way. But to me, it's a human form. Because we come in human form. We come like this, right? And so that's the center point. Some crystal, I have another one here. Some people like this one here. Now, I do make homemade ones as well. I'll show you my homemade one. This is another one. This is actually a rose quartz. Okay, rose quartzes are pink quartzes. These are called, this is the crystal of love. This is actually teaching you self-love and loving oneself. So this is basically a rose quartz. And anybody's dealing with a breakup in a relationship, that sort of thing, that's a good thing to have. You know, you put that in your pocket or around your heart, around your neck, around your heart. Those are really good to have. Highly recommended, right? So again, this could be my pendulum, and again, you can go to any metaphysical store that sells them, but you want them to actually find you. Like basically, when you walk in, let's switch some water here. When you walk into a store, into a metaphysical store, let the energy guide you to it. Okay, because most people say, "Well, I'm in a hurry. I got to get it." One of my new students to be, that'll be taking courses. I'll let you guys know what's going in the future, or coming up. But one of my future students is actually said he went into a metaphysical store and this lady tried to encourage him to buy these particular tarot deck cards, but he knows very well that he himself didn't think that it was really for him per se, because that's not what he was looking for. But she pushed him to say, "You got to get these." So it was her decision, not his. I always tell people, make sure you filter what feels right for you before you take it, before you believe everything they say. Now, this was handmade. I made this myself. This is a homemade piece. I got a crystal point, and I got this cap for jewelry, and I made this myself. So it's something that I would take with me as an emergency piece if I didn't, I always make different kinds of tools, because people are always looking for something for themselves. Let's see here, that would work. Close. There's the camera right there. It's hard to see when it waves back and forth. But, yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay. Also, some people will buy crystals and stones that have symbolic features on them, like things that have shapes and sizes. It depends how you're attracted to it. Now, this one here is, okay, this is my rosary. Now, the story about this one here, and will see the words on it. in there it says Medjugorje, and actually it's in Croatian, means heavens above, between worlds. There's a story to this. Many years ago, I was working with other professional mediums. 8 of us did a tour across Canada. We went from province to province. We went to 2 different large cities. So basically, for example, if I went to Saskatchewan, we went to Regina and Saskatoon, right? Those are the 2 largest cities in Saskatchewan. Alberta was Calgary and Edmonton. So we were actually doing performances there, the 8 of us, and met up with all kinds of people. Meantime, when I was in Saskatchewan, I was in Regina, and I was on the plane. But the night before, I said to Spirit, I'm really curious. I said to Spirit, am I really doing a good enough job? I want to find out, if I'm really doing a good enough job. And their answer was, they said that they give me a signal or something to let me know that I am. So the next day I got on the plane and I took a passenger seat next to the window. A passenger seat, sorry. I took a window seat and the far against the window. I love looking out the window. And the crazy part of it was, when I got on the plane, there was nobody in it. No one was on the plane. Just me. Regina had an empty plane except one person, the pilot and one airline stewardess, I guess you call them. So I was sitting there and I said to Spirit, I said, well, I guess I'm heading home now. And, I asked you guys for, give me some sort of a sign if I'm doing a good enough job. And next thing I heard this on my lap. This is what landed on my lap. I looked behind me. There was nobody there. But yet, it was on my lap, literally there in front of me. When I looked at it, I went, wow, where'd this come from? Looking around, there's nobody there. So what happened was, what I found out after, when I got home, excitedly went home and told my wife that this landed on my lap while I was on the plane, in the sky. I was already in the sky, folks. Looking in the clouds. And what happened was that I came home, the date was March 31st. And when my wife told me, she said March 31st was her mom's anniversary of her passing that year, or that month. And when I talked to a lady friend of mine who's now passed away, but who's also another medium, she says that what I received was an apport, APPORT, which basically Spirit can send you items through the ether, spirit world, and give you a message or something of great importance. And so I was sent this in my lap. And the interesting part was, this particular rosary had a name on it. When I showed my wife, and she says it was in the Croatian language, which my wife speaks Croatian. It was in her language too, as she speaks Croatian, and she's actually Cree in Croatian. Her mother's Croatian, her father was Cree. But anyways, so we call her Creation. So when my friend Barb said to me, she says that it came to me as an apport. She said, because you asked for a message from them, and they gave you a message, and they said they give this to you. This gave this to you as a gift to teach me that I had to learn to have faith in them, that they've been helping me all this time. So I have always had faith. But my wife did say that her mom passed away March 31st, so she would say that she believes this came from her mom. Now, there's more to the story, because on that cross, the name on it, there's a village in Croatia, okay, Medjugorje, and the way I could be saying it wrong, I'm buggering it up. Anyways, in the Croatia, there's a village where you'll see a statue of Mother Mary, and many people come in by the thousands every day to get healed standing next to the statue, and they will actually pray in front of the statue and ask for healing from Mother Mary, and including the statue, it will weep. It will cry all the time. And there have been stories about children that have been there, that have healed, that are getting messages consistently through by praying and standing next to the statue, as well as many people that stood next to the statue have healed. Actually, literally healed. People come in crippled as all can be. One lady friend of mine, her husband went to Croatia, and she was actually Chinese, and he's Croatian. And I said to him he had to go back to his country, but he had to go to this village for his wife to get healed, because his wife can never get pregnant. She's always had difficulty having pregnancy. So he went back. He took her back with him to Medjugorje, and Medjugorje they call it. They went back to the village, and she herself was a skeptic. Okay, and knowing all this, she was a skeptic, but she went anyways. But she went down there. And she's like all these people, and for some reason, somehow the aisle opened up and she walked down. And she passed everybody and went right directly to the statue, like as if they all made way for her. She wasn't pushing herself through. Like they opened up, like it's almost like opening the waters, and she just walked right ahead. And she stood there next to the statue, and apparently she just cried, literally just bawled, like she just lost it. And apparently her husband left her, like she was there for, I think he said half an hour. He said he saw her get up on her feet, she turned around, walked back up towards him, and she smiled. And she said that God told her, or Mother Mary told her, that she'll have a child, and that not to worry, everything will be fine. That apparently he healed her, or Mary healed. She got healed while she was there. So, and she did have a child. She, after they got home, there was a child to be born, and but she said she's never experienced anything quite like that before. She says she didn't realize how strong her faith was, and she learned a lot within less than a half an hour just by being there and feeling her presence. Just being connected. So I'm telling you guys, God has a different way of healing people, right? And everyone, like you guys in the chat room are asking right now, when can I get a chance, or when can I get to a med bed? Well, it's a matter of time. I don't know when I know they're bringing them out. They're coming out. They're being transferred. I think someone said there's about 200,000 of them being made right now, or have been made. They're distributing them out across the world, but there's going to be way more made. Down the road, what they're going to do is they'll be manufacturing for home use. So you'll actually have one for each home. Everyone's going to have one for each home. So it's just a matter of time. Anyways, this is what I went through. So I myself have had my blessings many times. Seen Jesus twice in my life, age of 8, 16, and then this time here I was, what year was that? 10 years ago? No, was it 10 years ago? No, take it back. No, it was not 10 years. 15, 16, 17. About 17, 18 years ago. That's how long I've had this. So, yeah. And I swear by it. I mean, not the negative way, but very swear. I mean, as in, I do believe in this. So, anytime I wear or hold on to this, it just makes me feel tingly. So, I know I have great faith in God. I've always had great faith in God. So, a lot of people may, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a lesson that you need to know. I think it's important. A lot of people at times in their life always lose faith. We always have, all of us go through that sort of thing. We lose faith in ourselves or faith in others. And what I want to let you guys know that it's up to you to find yourself. It's up to you to find your own faith. I mean, I'm not talking about faith as in religion. I mean, faith in yourself, because we always struggle with it. I mean, many people do. We always have a struggle with it. We don't know where we're going to go from here. We don't know what to do next. We feel kind of lost. Well, right now, as of the 19th and 2020, everyone was feeling lost, completely lost. And many people out there prayed for help, prayed for protection, prayed for this, and, prayed for healing of people. And the hardest shit, I would say the most hardest times that I had a hard time dealing with is having to see our elders locked up in their own elders' homes and not allowed to even see you folks. Okay? And there are people out there that never even made the attempt. Most of the families never made any attempt to try and to go into the building and go see their parent. The nurses or the caregivers always put the parents by the window and not even open the window up for them to see them or talk to them. They just only allowed to see them, and that's rather cruel. Like displayed like a pet, like a wild dog or cat in the window. And I saw so much abuse, absolutely so much terrible abuse about this. And, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry, Jeanette. Staying positive and loving myself helped me beat my girl. And you know what? I can hardly wait for the med beds to come in, so then you won't even have to think about, because the med beds actually cure cancer. They are proven to cure cancer. Because, folks, these med beds are not made by real people at the time. They were developed and designed by extraterrestrials. The extraterrestrials made these med beds. So they're passing those machines down to us. Okay? They gave us all this technology. Everything that you see here, recorders, cell phones, everything that you see, electronics, even in your vehicles, anything you're traveling, any type of electronic, you name it. They designed it. They showed us how to use them. Right? So, but the med beds are important, and they're going to come out. They're going to be one of the most major tools that most people are going to be using, and you're not going to you will seldom ever hear anyone get sick. There will be no more pharmaceuticals because they'll be removed. You're not going to see people taking pills. They don't need to. They will come to the point where you don't need a pharmacist. And if you do, very little of it. So, like I said, the pharmacies, because a lot of these pharmaceuticals are designed by name brands, and they're push, where people use them as painkillers, or they use them as antidepressants, or people call them even the sugar pill. And this is all going to change. Okay? Absolutely going to change. Anybody's dealing with fibromyalgia or any physical, emotional, mental, even PTSD, all this is going to help them completely. Right? And if you don't like to see yourself getting older, aging, I think I aged really quick, and my wife did too when she had her cancer. And I was, a couple years ago, I didn't have all these sort of like creases all of a sudden. So I noticed a difference in my face. But again, I hated it where I was wearing these damn masks, did some damage to my cheeks. Oh, I didn't like it. Because they were telling us you had to wear a mask or nothing at all, or you don't come into the store. So, when I found out you're wearing these stupid things that causes skin conditions, and I went, man, really? Because I don't use these type of masks if I'm doing any carpentry, because mine are Rubbermaid, like mine are special professional masks. Can you actually see me walking into a store wearing those carpentry masks? Like, I want a quart of milk. Right, as if they can actually hear you. So, yeah. But these med beds will actually they'll change your genes. It's called a Regeneron machine. They have one special machine, and it will make you look youthful. It takes 20 years away, 30 years, 40 years, and you'll look young, and you will actually keep your age, and you will live longer. So, like, all these things, what's going to happen? They will come to the surface. They will exist, and they do exist. So, I've got photographs of all these Regeneron machines, different kinds of machines, or med beds are being built. Any of you guys out there ever want to see photographs of them? If you haven't got the photographs, let me know. Email me at, email me at spiritchaser1, okay? spiritchaser1@gmail.com. That's spiritchaser1@gmail.com. Ask me about the med beds, photographs, I'll send them to you. And you'll have a look at them, and you'll see what they look like. And these med beds are actually that were photographed They were photographed in a space station. Yes, space station in up there. So you get to see what they look like, and even some of the spaceships, some of the the real planes that fly in the sky, in space. So, when you can't request here, you got to email me at spiritchaser1@gmail.com. Exactly, Diana. You got it. So, anyways, there's a lot to learn about what's going on in the community, folks, and I would like I said before, I mean, I'm seeing so much stuff change, and I've been noticing, and I think like I said before, the coolest thing I saw was a lot of people used to say, well, how do you know JFK Jr. really is alive? Well, when I saw the flag fly and it said Trump and it said JFK Jr., Vice President, on the flag, and that was raised by Trump's people, I'm going like, now you know I'm telling the truth. Like I said, folks, I'm serious. If you want to find that video, just ask me. I'll send it to you. Honest to God, you can see it. The video, it shows a small short video, but when you see it and watch it, you're gonna go like, whoa, and it's real. And like I said before, Donald Trump actually still has been president, but he's going to be the new president of the United States under the new republic. Okay, so this is not like the word America, for example, for anybody who's American. When you call yourself an American, that's actually under the corporation. So that's going to all change. It's going to be shifting, right? Hey, Wendy, how you doing? Rena Talcree, hey, nice to see you guys. So there's a lot to see and a lot to do, and like I'm always sending out wonderful messages and information that's going out. Where like I love it when you guys pass all this stuff around. And also feel free to go to my True North Strong and Free page. You'll see a bunch of red little guys out there. That's my platform. You're more than welcome to put your information on there if you do find anything, because I like other like-minded people to find it. And if you want to become a friend on that, get connected. Ask to be part of it. I'd love to, because it gives you guys a bit of an update. But what's really going on. Also, if you have never, reason I don't use YouTube much, because YouTube's actually knocking so many people out. And every time, I just got striked, by the way. I started talking about health or talking about this, I got striked. How many bloody times? And they're warning me, like, not to mention that. I'm like, really? Here's my thoughts. Anyways, I stepped out of it, and not permanently, but just away from them. And like, I'm not sure how long I'll be on Facebook, or sorry, on this, because they're going to be taken out too after all this happens. So you guys need to start. Oh, I'm being told to say this to you guys too. Start, if you have any more pictures or photographs or anything that you want to keep for yourself, that you say you photographed someone and you popped on Facebook. If you want to save those photos, I highly recommend to collect them and put them in your own file in your home, because once the F goes down, it's not coming back. So again, all these things later on down the road, it won't be here. So you're not going to have F very long. So they're asking people, if you have anything on any social search networks that you want to keep, download them, collect them into your computer, because the next little while, there's so many social networks are going to be shifted. Now, I was starting to use BitChute for a while, and in fact, I started a BitChute account, and also one called Rumble. I was going to start on that one. Apparently, there was a couple of, I guess, some people saying that BitChute and Rumble are having troubles now. People are having a hard time downloading certain things in there. Now they're being told that they can't say certain things. But the best place that you can say whatever you want is called Telegram. So I do recommend to download the app called Telegram, and that's actually run by John F. Kennedy Jr. Those are his people that are running this one, so they have full control over it. So you download the app Telegram, and it's worth your while. You'll see every piece of information come to the surface, and if you need to find out, and I can forward you guys some of the great information that's coming in, that's authentic, that's real, that's coming from the real people, and it's coming from Mr. T and Mr. J Jr. You can get all what's going on. Also, my recommendation for if you want to invest income for yourself, I do and highly recommend to invest in gold, invest in silver, and the name Kodak. Okay, invest in the name Kodak, which basically comes from the cameras, right? But invest in that in the stock market, because they are the company that's going to be. They were given the contract to build the med beds. So I do highly recommend to, buy the stocks in Kodak. Okay. So the person sent here, Telegram is good, not run by anyone. Yeah, and Telegram actually, the Kennedys are the ones that take care of that one. So they're in control of it. Okay, so Bonnie says save on external hard drives and unplug them from your computer. Very good. See? Because like I said before, the deep state likes to get into your computer. Actually, Microsoft was asking me just the other day, they wanted to access my files. I said, why? Well, if you want to download programs, you have to access my files. No, you don't have that. You don't have that permission. If you want me to, then they said, well, then you can't use Microsoft anymore. I said, fine, I'll go to somebody else, right? So I don't need Microsoft. But they see Microsoft thinks that they control everything. They don't. Okay, a computer is a computer. You can actually download other sites that has no connection to Bill Gates. They will help you as well, just as much. And most of the time I start using DuckDuckGo as a search engine now, because DuckDuckGo is safer. You get more information, by the way, if you go on DuckDuckGo, because DuckDuckGo is not controlled by Google. Anytime you want to do investigate anything on, don't use Google, because Google actually works for deep state. DuckDuckGo does not. It's spelled DuckDuckGo, search engine, and you'll find more stuff online. Telegram, Telegram will not download in my computer. They could. You just have to find a way to do it. Did you download the app, right? Vivian says you're on Telegram. Good for you. Good. And you can, like I said, I tell people, make me a friend on Telegram. Connect me on Telegram. And they also have something really cool that's new that I just found out today, that you can actually do verbal chats. You can actually do chat rooms with people on the time. Firefox is actually, that's controlled by Google as well. That's part of deep state. Yeah, it's that's going to take time, folks. You're going to have to, I'd say DuckDuckGo is more safer and more, you have more prevalence of more expression of what you want to do. If you want to do some certain special kind of research, like anything to do with the extraterrestrials, or anything that you really want to do that other sites don't want you to find, I've been noticing Google's been preventing me from finding certain things that I am trying to investigate. So I'm going like, okay, I'm going DuckDuckGo and found it. So Google likes to, they don't want you to see, all Google wants you to find is pussycats and dogs, right? And whatever. So anything that does not relate to any politics, but anything to do with politics, or if you mention, like you put on there on Google, who was the President of the United States, and it's funny as all hell, it comes up there like, and one time it came up there, it says that Joe Biden was the President of the United States for 10 years. No, he wasn't. So, yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to call me and ask me. I got a couple more minutes, about 10 minutes left. Anything you want to ask about regarding what I talked about tonight, or just 360-566-2875. It's wonderful to hear from you guys, and it's wonderful to actually change the subject a little bit more and talk about crystals and healing purposes and its use, because it's always good to, because these are your major protectors. Crystals have been around for thousands and thousands of years. These are not just new age things by the folks. I've heard this for years. People say, oh, something new age, you people that, like think you're just magic wand and all that. No. The first people that actually were using crystals and stones were the First Nations people. They actually had crystals and stones in their medicine bags, as well as the other certain tribal people from different parts of the world of Europe were actually using crystals, because they were using them as jewelry. The Egyptians used the lapis lazuli, which is actually a deep blue stone with gold in it, and they would put them on their shields to make connection with the spirit world. Okay, and they believe that as protection. So, this is what they're using them for. Again, Sue, if you're asking what med beds are, they're called med beds, which basically these are specially designed beds that actually cure diseases and cancer, you name it, and they'll be coming out to the public in the next year. Actually, maybe less than that. But they'll be used free. You don't pay for it. But they'll be getting people to sign up to get these med beds. Most of the time, at the moment, what they're going to do is they're going to get all the children to get signed up first, as well as the elders to sign up as well to use as med beds, and then anybody's dealing with certain virus or disease, that sort of thing, then they'll be also signing up to be on these med beds. And they're amazing. They're not just one kind of med bed. There's like 5 or 6 kinds. So, area code 778.
Hey, Derrick, it's Jeanette calling.
Hi, Jeanette. Long time no see.
Yes, so I'm over in Port Alberni, and been here a while.
Yeah.
Loving living on the island. So I'm just phoning to say, hey, are any of my relatives popping in to say hi?
Automatically I will say yes, because they are saying this to me to tell you, my dear, you have every one of your relatives came through to help you when you're dealing with your hardest time of your cancer.
Oh, I know.
When you're at your worst, they're saying they were there.
Yeah.
And they said you saw them.
I did, actually, in the hospital room.
Yeah.
Of all things, I saw orbs, and I also saw like an ascended master symbol. It was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
It was at Burnaby Hospital, and the curtain, you know how they close the curtains around you? I could see it in there.
Yeah.
And I know I wasn't imagining it. I felt it. I prayed to the First Nations spirit doctors to come and protect me during the surgery.
Yeah.
And everything was like divine intervention as to how it all went down.
Yeah. And the cool part, you are here for a long time. So, that's one thing that I would say to you. Don't lose focus of yourself. Just believe the fact that they were there.
And, and that's the thing, too, is you start to doubt yourself.
Yes.
And I try to focus on, me, I try to stay positive. But there are moments that I allow myself to just be overwhelmed, I think is the right word. But in general, I just allow knowing that the energies are here. And we have a dog, and she sees them. Like, she's staring right at them. I know they're in the room with me.
Oh, definitely.
And I tell her to calm down. You're going to be okay. They're not going to hurt you. And she doesn't, I think, understand why they're not talking or touching her or something. But she definitely perks up as soon as she senses them. So, yeah. And I'm in the house I grew up in. This is the house my family's had since 1958.
Wow.
So all the energies of many past relatives have all come through here. So it's pretty cool.
That's cool. It's wonderful to be. A funny thing, last night I was actually looking at my old photographs of me being on the farm, and I actually made some videos of me talking to my parents just before they passed away, where we had just a regular conversation. So for some reason I was just reminiscing to watch my parents, to see the responses, and how time's gone by, and that we all miss them. But I realized, I thought to myself, I've already talked to my mom and dad after they passed away. I've already spoken to them on Frank's box, so to speak, I've heard my mom's voice many times over.
The Frank's box, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So I spoke to my mom, since she's passed on that. So having to looking at her in that video compared to where she's at now, and I thought to myself, that's not my mom anymore. I already know where my mom really is, and I already know my mom's is at peace. She's not that same person that had lived that life at the time, back in 2007, 6 or 7. Where I know my mom now is today, she's far better, happier, but again, she's got a new life, right? So we don't have to reminisce back and saying, oh, wonder how she's doing, because I already know where she's at. because now she's my youngest granddaughter. So, I don't have to worry.
Oh my goodness, what a blessing.
Yeah.
What an absolute blessing. But I have to tell you, when I met Claudette Godin for the first time, I ended up signing up to go take her mediumship class.
Yeah, yes.
And as we were tuning in, my mom came through to me,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom came through, and my mom was a smoker all her life. When she came through on the other side, she's in gardens of flowers, and she told me, I don't smoke anymore.
Cool.
I finally kicked the habit, she told me.
Your mom's saying, I'm actually smoking the roses. No, I was just kidding.
I believe it. She's totally smoking all of her roses.
Yeah.
She had rose bushes all around her house.
That's a good thing. But you know, Claudette passed away, right?
I'm the one that told you.
Yeah.
Remember? I told you.
I miss Claudette because her and I did church service together years ago. Yeah. We were in White Rock, and she was going to be one of our ministries. Like, she was going to be one of our ministers with Barb Leonard, and she was training with us. This is amazing. Back. Oh my God, she was like 2002, 2003, and we had.
I can hear her laugh right now.
Oh yeah, and her and I had fun. Like, whenever we got her on the platform to talk, and she was a ball of fire, and I enjoyed her. I enjoyed her company.
The real deal. Real deal.
Oh, she was straight up. Yeah, she was straight up. And then let's see. We have lost more mediums you may have met that have passed away since. Like Barb Leonard passed away.
Or Barb Leonard, right?
Yeah, Barb passed away before Claudette, and I was actually by Barb's side before she crossed over, and I was the last person she saw before she passed away.
Yeah. It's good that you were there though for her.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it down to see her, and my wife said to me, "You're going to regret if you don't go." Okay, so you know what? I can't, because I had a client coming. I said, "No, Marina, cancel the client. I'm going down to see Barb." So I went down to see Barb, and the first thing when I was by Barb's side, I walked in and she saw me, and she said, "I'm so happy that you're here." And she says, "I have to go now," and she closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Wow. And her daughter looked at me and she goes, "Mom, get back here. I'm not done with you yet." And then her mom went, and she came back again. She goes, "See, because her daughter didn't want, her daughter did not want me to be the last person she spoke to." So,
well, her daughter can't always get the last word, can she?
No. That's typical Kim. That's what Kim was like. Kim wanted the last say in the matter. Yeah, no, Kim always wanted the last say in things. I remember her well. Because I remember when I was anytime I ever called Barb on the phone and Kim would answer, she goes, "Mom, it's your other son."
Oh, there you go.
It's your other son.
From another mother.
Yeah. Barb was like cool, like I never call her Mom, I call her Barb, but anytime we talked to each other, got to know each other, I've known her for so many years. But I remember the first time I met Barb, I was doing church service. I was actually doing mediumship messages in our spiritualist church, and we had the whole room was full of people, like absolutely packed full in the First Night Spiritualist Church in Burnaby and Kincaid.
Yeah, that's my church.
Yeah, it was packed full of people, and I was on the platform. The room was full, and Barb was sitting in the center aisle, and she was watching me. And apparently, I guess after my performance, Barb came up to me. She goes, "Derrick," she says, "I want to say something." She says, you may not know me that well," she says, "but I've never met somebody quite like you. That you've done amazing readings." She says, "You're bang on. She says, "Who trained you?" And I said, "No one." I said, "I learned my own." And she said, "Don't change that." And I've been told this by other mediums that are from England. Don't change that. Don't get training by them. Just do your own thing. Yeah. And I've been, all of us are that way.
You run with it.
You run with it.
What you do.
Yeah, you run with it.
I still remember the very first time I saw you up on the platform at the First United Spiritualist Church, and you took us to a meditation. The deepest I've ever went in a meditation. Yeah. And I went back in time, and I had a relationship that didn't work, and it took me back. That I was in the Civil War. Yeah. I was the soldier, and I left that partner with a child. And in this lifetime, the person found me, and kind of the same thing happened. So it was like these two souls that connected
Yeah.
and it was really wild. And I didn't understand why it didn't end. And then when I had this past life vision,
Yeah.
and then you had a few spirit animals.
Yeah.
And I had a white, it wasn't a polar bear, but it was like a white, like grizzly bear.
Yeah.
And I also had an eagle. And you were just, I remember you were so excited when you explained it. And I was all excited because I was so new to everything. It was like, ooh, that was such the coolest experience. And then I just would see you more often, and then we became friends.
That's how it works.
So,
That's how it works. Well, I'm so glad to know that you're doing fine. So.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'll be sure glad when the border opens up because my man lives in Washington State, and he's ex-military, and I just love him to bits. And this not being down there is really hard. So, but it just kind of feels like an old-fashioned romance. The only difference is you're not writing letters. We actually have the internet and Facebook.
Well, it's like Little House on the Prairie, right? It's like Little House on the Prairie.
Kind of like Little House on the Prairie, exactly.
Yeah.
But I said to him, this is like, in the old days, you would have had to wait 3 weeks on the stagecoach for a letter.
Yeah.
Instead, you got instantaneous and video chat.
This is your true romance. I tell people, when this is true romance, when you actually are, when you knowingly that person is dedicated to you, you know very well it's for real, and all these people that do this online stuff, and they figure that they should be automatically in love with someone in the matter of a couple of weeks. No, it doesn't work that way, folks. You have to earn your way and get to know each other first before you start to say it's real or not.
And your people that are all listening, they don't know my story, but I was with a fiance going through all the cancer, and then he left me at 1 month before the last round of chemo. And then he was on the fence, and Derrick met him. His name was Ken.
Yeah.
And it all fell apart. And then the following summer, where I really thought no one would come into my life, I met Dave. And Derrick predicted years ago that, there's more coming. Don't ever think that the door's shut on you. That was before Ken came in. And then when Dave came in, he's like my perfect match of spiritual. He can see things. He can sense things. He doesn't judge me for when people kind of think you're crazy when you know all this stuff.
Yeah.
He's all in. He's totally all in, and he was raised a Mormon, and he let all that go because he's got it all happening too. So it's a really amazing connection.
Cool.
And I want to thank you because you told me never to give up. You're not done yet. I remember you telling me that. You're not done yet. And I listened to that tape because I don't know if people know that you used to record things on a cassette tape.
On a cassette, yeah.
Yeah, and I listened to it over and over and over again to help reconfirm those, that it'll happen, and it did. So,
yeah, I love it when I make predictions or try to keep people's interest going, not to quit, because even people like me, I also have my faults. I make mistakes too, but we're all human. Because people.
We're human and we have free will.
Yeah, we all got to learn. Everyone's got to learn.
No one's perfect.
And you're never too old to learn. My father always told me, or my uncle used to say, you're never too old to learn because you'll always learn something new every day. And I do. I learn something new every day. So any kid ever says to you, oh, I know that, I was that kid.
You've always been a bit of a smart aleck.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's your personality naturally. So.
That's what it was, yeah. You thought you're going to be better than someone.
You get in trouble.
It got me in trouble, yeah. My father would, or else I'd tell my dad, well, it's in the book. Well, how do you know what's in the book? What book? Go get me the book. Well, I don't have it here right now.
Oh my goodness. I miss everybody on the Lower Mainland and the spiritualist churches and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I've made my own group of people over here, and I believe you know my really good friend Georgina Sear.
Yes.
Because she knows you.
Yeah.
And anyway, she's got some really great stuff going on here in Port Alberni with spiritual stuff, and she does a Women of Fire retreat. And you meet your own tribe,
Yeah.
of the people that you're like. And I definitely put it out there, and I met them all while I was here, which was really great. And I've met some amazing people once I moved back to my small town here.
Yeah. Well, tell Georgina I said hello.
I will.
Yeah.
And actually, when the COVID thing and traveling, she can have meetups again. she was gonna. I talked to her about you coming over for maybe a weekend because she's got like a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
And you could do like a making drums, because we do a drumming circle.
Yeah.
And I said Derrick would do this drumming, teach us to do the drums and all that, and it could be like a workshop weekend. So
Well,
I did bring that forward to her.
I'll tell you right now, what I am doing right now, every Friday at from 7 until 9, I'm actually teaching drum songs. Anybody that wants to learn the songs, I teach them. I charge $20 for like $20 for my time.
That's really reasonable. Because
and that's basically, it's just my
Yeah.
time. And but I teach you the songs, and I send you the songs, so you learn in Anishinaabe, where some of the songs, some are sung in English, but these songs are all giving songs. These are all sharing songs. These are not some people say they're sacred songs. No, these are all sharing songs that you can sing, that are sung in Anishinaabe or sung in English. And some are just harmony. So, but because a lot of people that after they make their own drum or receive their own drum, a lot of them have no idea what songs to sing,
what to do next.
what to do next.
Can you send me a link to that so I can get her to put it into her Facebook group, and then anybody here in town that has drums, because some people have made some drums that they might want to sign up.
Yeah.
Probably will sign up.
Sure.
She puts it out, because
I'm also
it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm also doing this on the 22nd of May. I'm also doing psychic medium development. I charge $90 a class, which is for 8 weeks. I'm doing that right now. If any more people that want to sign up, more welcome to. And then my classes are like hers.
Yeah.
You're taught advanced. Like any time that you think that you don't know enough. I mean, some of my students are actually online watching this right now, and they will tell you. Like Diana, who's in the room, she's one of my students.
And then your gal from down in Nevada.
Yeah, so there's quite a few that have actually taken my classes, and so they've noticed a big difference in their change.
Send me the links and stuff. I can pass it to her.
Sure.
And then she can advertise it in a group. But
Yep.
like I said, once we can have groups together again, she really was interested in. There's about 5 of us that were definitely interested in learning how to make a drum.
Yeah.
And then I guess because you can't. Are you supposed to give away your first drum that
No.
you make?
No, that's because the drum class that
I don't know where that came from then. But
No, let me explain that part to you. The drum class that I teach is called the soul drum. You're making a soul drum. That means it's your drum that you're making for yourself. You're making this for yourself, and if you choose to give it away, it's up to you. But it's a choice. I don't know where this idea came in. People say you got to give your drum away. Some people say, well, the Creed started it, and some people believe the West Coast started it. I think just somebody started the idea of you got to give it away. Not entirely. That's the way I was taught, that if you want to give it away, it's a choice. It does not mean you have to. It's like someone walk up to you, for example, and I've heard people tell me stories years ago when I was young, and they'll say, well, if somebody walks up to you and says they like your necklace, that means you got to give it away. Do you realize how all my clothes will be off my body before you know it? I'd walk around naked.
And your boots would be gone too.
Exactly. So this this way here, like, it just depends on your what you want to do. Like, sure, people say, "Well, I like what you got," but they're just basically hoping
you can't give. I know that saying you give the shirt off your back, but it comes to a point you can't really do that.
No, just give them a sleeve.
Georgina has this lovely chunk of property here on top of the hill.
Yeah.
And her husband is amazing. He built her room for all of her meetups and spiritual events. It's called the Star Room. Last summer, they built a labyrinth outside.
Oh, okay,
all
cool.
Finished off, and now they've set up a tetrahedron. So they've got quite a lot of really cool stuff on their property.
Wait till Georgina has her first visit from the extraterrestrials in the next little while. Oh my God.
Yeah. And she's right at the top of the hill. So maybe if she sets it up, you and Marina could come together for the weekend. Yeah. Have a little getaway, and then do this training with us, which would be really super cool. So,
yeah. She's gonna enjoy it. But I'm just being told that she's going to have a visitation from extraterrestrial beings. They're going to come and see her.
Oh,
yeah.
I just got the goosebumps.
Yeah, they're going to come and see her because, yeah, they're going to come and see her. That's all I can say. They're going to come and see her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's not going to get abducted, folks. They're going to come and see her. They're going to pay her a visit.
She just
No.
has that, you know, she's really just like a hippie. Like
Yeah.
a modern hippie.
Yeah, yeah, that's typical of her. Yeah, that's for I don't know how many years I've known her. Yeah.
Probably a long time. She moved to Port Alberni when she met Daniel. She was only 18 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's now in her early 60s.
Yeah.
So she's been here a long time.
We've got some
And
really
she's living in
fabulous.
California.
We got some really fabulous healers, singers, entertainers that I've known since they were teenagers, and now they're all, you know, out there in the healing field. Now they're in their 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
wonderful to see them.
I turned Freedom 55 in July, so.
Yeah, oh, good for you.
Yeah, I'm just so glad I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm 10 years older than you.
Well, yeah, but you don't act 10 years older. Just
No.
so that people out there know you're really young at heart, and so is Marina. You guys are just an amazing couple together.
I'm going to tell you a story here, my dear. You know, let's see, back in 2005, we did an elders dinner. I helped put together an elders dinner for the elders in the community, and we had lots of people come down, kids, you name the whole 9 yards. And I said, and it was Marina's birthday. It happened in April, and so I said to everybody, I said, well, I'd like to also wish my wife a happy birthday, and she just turned 34. And and everybody going, really? She's 34? Oh my God, she's so young. And then somebody walked away and came up to me after and said, how old is she? I said, she's 54. But they swore, they thought
she doesn't look it.
She doesn't look it.
You know,
No.
when you have First Nations blood, we are genetically blessed to
You
have
never
people.
age as quickly, folks. That's what's so good about being Indigenous, because you have that little extra drip of blood, Indigenous blood, that helps you look younger. You live longer.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And like you said, it's all in the Métis eyes.
It's all these Métis eyes. Exactly. So, anyway, thank you so much for coming on and phoning in.
Oh, you're welcome. I didn't understand quite how to call you. I thought, do I have to sign up for Skype? And I'm like, I'm just going to dial and see what happens.
Just dial it, yeah. The number is actually based out of Vancouver, Washington, but if they have Skype, they can call through Skype, or they call my number. So, and I use a Vancouver, Washington because.
Phone numbers are based out of Vancouver.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I use Vancouver, Washington, because I have a lot of clients calling from the States, and
they don't have international calling.
They don't have international calling. Like, for example, if I had a Canadian number, they would like, it's so expensive for long distance. They don't have what you and I have. We have greater advantages here as far as long distance is concerned compared to what they do. So I thought, well, you know what? Let's do it this way. Vancouver, Washington, no problem. They call in. So I do get a lot of calls. So I don't mind at all.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
That's good. And it's cool because you've got people all over the U.S. and they've all got some accents. And,
Yep.
You know, they give their views, you give your views, and it's interactive.
Yeah.
And you got Dick, who's your, rock and roll dude in California, and all your regulars that call in.
All my buddies,
your
yeah.
Your Alberta ladies haven't been calling in lately. The 780 number.
No. I'll be hearing from them soon sometime, I'm sure.
Okay, Derrick, it was awesome to talk to you. I love you. Like I said, you're my brother from another mother,
Yeah.
and now everybody gets to hear my voice for
Well,
once.
love to you lots, my dear. You take good care of yourself.
Love you too. Give Marina a great big hug for me, okay?
Okay. You take care.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. I haven't spoken to Jeanette a little over a year now. Well over a year now since she took ill. I'm glad she's really doing well. So, folks, I have to leave you, but soon. Let's see here. Question from, before I quit, she was a quick question. Lemurian Healing Rod. To purchase it. Yes, Diana, you get it. If it's calling you, you get it. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Okay? And, okay, Vivian, I think your protectors should give should give them to a new owner after the chain breaks will fall off you. Yeah, you know what happens? Not just chain breaks, but sometimes people say they'll buy themselves a certain kind of crystal ring, or they'll wear a piece of jewelry and it goes missing. So it's not meant to be there anymore. That's just because it's meant to be either called to the earth or for someone else. That's how it works, right? So anyways, yeah. So if anybody is interested in wanting to do my courses, I actually do Psychic Medium Development Show. Folks, it's actually an 8-week course, and I do it through Skype. And also it's for a 4-hour class. It starts from 7 until 11, and it's $90, $90 per class, or it's in total, which is $720. And if anybody's interested, you can call me. You can contact me through spiritchaser1 at gmail.com. And if you want to join this, you're more than welcome to. And love to hear from you to do the course. But again, I'll tell people this: if you're going to do the 8-week course, you have to commit to it. It's absolutely important, because what you've learned, what I've taught you, by the time you're done, you can use this as a profession or personal use. Is up to you. But by the time you're done with those 8 weeks, you've learned what you've learned from the 8 weeks. You've learned what that would have taken you 2 years. Okay? And Spirit doesn't have time to train people forever and ever and ever length of time. They want to get you to play catch up. So they will come to your dream time and train you while you're in your dreams too. So it's not just through me alone, them also helping you. So there's a lot to learn. Okay. Anyways, also too, besides that, I'm also, again, before mentioned earlier tonight, I also do hand drum teaching songs, Anishinaabe songs. If you guys are interested, if you guys have drum of your own, you're more welcome to. I do charge a fee of $20, but again, it's between it's for about 2 to 3 hours. We go from 7 until 10 o'clock, 3 hours. But it's wonderful, and the reason why I charge for that, because I got to pay for distance charging for my, for phones and that. But anyways, that's how it works. They got to pay for something to get something back, and also to yeah. So I'll talk to you guys next week. You guys have a wonderful season, and I guess spring is still here, still happening. May is we're only beginning May. So like my grandmother used to say, at the end of May is when you take your shoes off and walk on the grass. But again, I live in BC. I can walk on grass all the time. No snow. Take good care, you guys, and be good to each other. And we'll talk to you guys next week. And stay strong, stay and have faith. Go to my page, True North Strong and Free, or whiteskycloud.com. If you want to know anything about what's going on, ask. Love to hear from you. Take care.
Together.